Hello, YouTubers! Welcome back to Yorkshire Media One. I am Mark, your host, your presenter, whatever you want me to be. And yes, I am cheaper and better than the BBC. That's my catchphrase for 2024. So, what have we got for you today? Well, I've just hit the 500 subscribers mark. So, I'm very happy to bring to you a 500 special video, which is Lemans. Get it right way around. I've got it upside down then. Lemans 66. Now, this film, it is good. You've got two legends on the screen, Matt Damon and Christopher Bale. And also, it's about two legends, Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles, the driver of the GT40 winning car, basically. So, what are we talking about? So, that's what we're talking about. That's what I'm going to do. So, the film starts with Carroll Shelby at Le Mans. Racing at Le Mans. He comes into pits because he's coming in. He comes into pits. He's just about to jump out of the car, and they fill it up in car from back sets a fire and sets his overalls on fire, and they put him out very quickly. And he says, right, fill the car with petrol. And they said, fill the car with petrol. Am I on fire? And like, no. So he gets in the car and goes, and he goes. He's in the lead, and then his vision starts to go, and that it all starts to go blurry and dark and black in his brain, his head upside a helmet and things like that. Just because he's thinking he's falling asleep. So after that, when it says an American has won Le Mans, it goes to the next clip where he's at the doctor's, and his doctors is basically telling him, "You've got a bad heart. You need to, to stop racing, to take it easy and things like that, because you can't carry on the way you're going." And he says, "Oh, I'll be all right." And he says, "No." He says, "Continue racing, you will die." So he's been told he can't race ever again because I think it's his heart valve. One of his heart valves have gone, broken or knackered or whatever you want to call it. And that's so okay. Yeah. And then he gets into his car, does Carroll Shelby, and he's thinking about, and he says, there's no better feeling than 7,000 RPMs going for it. That's where the car needs to be, and that's where you need to be. And this is a repeating rhythm through the film. Now, the film is adrenaline pumping, a good film. It's action. It's all action packed, even though it's a car racing film, and it's about a story what happened in 1966, Ford versus Ferrari. But it is adrenaline pumping. It does actually make your heart beat faster, and it did with me. I loved it. I really did. It's a really good film, especially the scenes where you're introduced to Ken Miles in his own garage and that, and he's working on. I think it's a Ferrari. He's working on a red car in any case. This customer comes in. Oh, I want this car to drive properly because it's backfiring. It gives my dog an heart attack, or my dog barks or whatever, all the time. And Ken Miles said, "Well, there's nothing wrong with the car. It's just oily plugs. You need to drive it at 5,000 RPMs, not 2,000 RPMs." And he tells this to the driver. He says, "Just drive it 5,000 RPMs, change up the gear, and let it go." And the owner says, "Are you trying to tell me how to drive?" And Ken says, "No, I'm not trying to tell you how he drives, but my car drives perfectly at that kind of speed." And so this guy gets into this MG Magnet or whatever it's supposed to be, gets in and drives off, and he's not a very good driver. And that, then Ken and his wife, there's a bit of a love scene, so I won't go into it because there's a lot of it what's not repeatable, and that ends to say. So then after that, you see Ken Miles at the racetrack arguing with a race official about, and the race official tests the boot, and he can't close the boot, so he says, "Oh, you and your team are disqualified." And Ken Miles goes into one. He's hot-headed, so he goes into one. He starts really going at him, threatening, and Carroll Shelby calms the official down and says, "Look, and the official and Carroll Shelby see Ken Miles brain out the trunk, the boot of the car, what you call the trunk in America, and they start beating it out with an hammer so it would fit, and it did fit Looked a bit awful, but it fitted. And Carol smoothed it over with the official, and then turned to Ken Miles saying, "Oh, you can't be like this. You can't be hot-headed." He says something wrong to him, and Ken just turns around and throws a spanner at him, and Carroll Shelby moves out of the way, and it breaks the windscreen. Now he races with that car with that broken windscreen, and wins the bloody race, which it was expected. And then Carroll Shelby has the spanner mounted in a frame on the wall, because basically that's their first win. And so it goes on from there, and then Ken Miles loses his own garage through taxes and things like that, but they don't lose the house. But and he says to his wife, he gets all his trophies, what he's won over the years, and puts them in the bin. And then next scene after that, he's talking to his wife, saying, "Look, I can't be selfish anymore. I can't be a child. I'm going to have to go get a 9-to-5 job and put food on the table." And she's saying, "No. You'll be unlivable. It won't work." And then after that, you see a scene where his son has got the trophies out of the bin and puts them under his bed. So, and things like that, as the keeps it. And it goes on from there, basically. In the end, it shows you another scene where Carroll Shelby is approached by Ford to build a race car for Ford to win at Lemans. And Carroll Shelby does say, and honestly says this, he says, "Money won't buy you speed, but money might just buy you a driver what could win the race." And so they go and they spend, you won't believe this, but on the 1966 GT40, which is that car there, 9 million quid to get it to there. Well, they get it to a race. But unfortunately, Ken don't go to France in 65. He goes in 66, but he doesn't go in 65. But he knows what's going to go wrong with car, and he's already building in repairs what will make it last, hopefully longer, and things like that. And what else is done as well is that Ford always are trying to get rid of Ken Miles. They don't want him to race. They don't want him to, he's too hot-headed. He's not a Ford man. Ford are trying to control Carroll Shelby's American team, Cobra American team, and things like that. And obviously Ken Miles doesn't like that, because they try it with computers. Ken Miles comes back after a test drive in the first GT40 and he's saying it stalls on the straightaway. You can feel it's going too light because the car's lifting. It just wants to take off. And they says, "Oh, well, computer will sort that out." And Ken says, "No, it bloody won't." And then I think it's when the engineer says, "Get me some scotch tape and some cotton linen." And they start taping on bits of linen on the car so you can see airflow. And they says, "Oh, we'll lose some weight," and they take the old computer out and ditch it. And then Ken goes again around the track, and visibly with the car covered in that white, you can see where the aerodynamics are not working. So and they just turn around and say to Carroll Shelby, "Ken Miles is right. The car stalls on the straightaway. It's not gathering speed. It's trying to take off. He's trying to go airborne basically. So they need to stop that. So they do, and they do get round it, and faster it goes and things like that. But there's always a corporate man who's wanting rid of Ken Miles. So Henry Ford comes down to see the car what they built, and Carroll Shelby has an idea. He takes the bloke who's in charge of the design or of the race team, locks him in his office, walks out, gets Henry Ford II into the car and takes him for a test drive. Does Carroll Shelby, and he shows him what the car will do. And then at the end of that, when Carroll Shelby spins the car around and stops it, Henry Ford II is crying because his father hasn't seen it, and he knows he knew Carroll Shelby is right. Carroll Shelby says, "If you want to win Le Mans, you need a driver who knows the car." The only reason why Ken Miles knows this car is because he's designed it with me. He's helped me to build the car. You let him race at Daytona. If he wins at Daytona, he goes, "Yeah, He wins at Daytona, he races up Lemans. So Henry Ford says, what happens if he loses? You get Carroll, you get Shelby, Cobra, American, lock, stock and barrel. He puts his own company up, does Carroll Shelby. That's how confident he was in Ken Miles. So Ken Miles goes to Daytona and bloody wins the race. He wins it because Carroll Shelby puts on a board, 7,000 RPMs, drive it to hell. And that's what he does. And Ken Miles wins the race. And that's what happens. And that is forced and that is it. But you think that's easy going, but it's not. They're always wanting to try and slow down Ken Miles. So he goes to Le Mans. He starts the race, obviously, back in 66. They had to run to the car to get in and set off. They did all that. And Ken Miles made up time on his first lap, but lost a lot of time because his door wouldn't shut. So he comes into pits. They're trying to fix the door, and one of the mechanics says, move back, gets a rubber hammer and braces the door a couple of times. It shuts and locks, and then Ken goes again. And on the second lap, he breaks the track record with the GT40. And it goes on like that. And then they go a lap behind. They go a lap behind on it. And things like that to, so he says, get me out there. So he goes out there. He gets that lap back. And then he gets a secondary lap back. And then it goes on. He ends up bringing 3 Ford GT40s across the line, 1, 2 and 3. Bruce McLaren wins the race and everything, and Carroll Shelby and Ken says, what's gone on? And Carroll Shelby explains, and Ken Miles says, you promised me a drive, you didn't promise me the win. And he says I've got an idea for the next car. That's an aluminum chassis. If we get that right, it'll work and we'll win next Le Mans. And that's what they were working on. And then the next shot of that is where you see Carroll Shelby sat down and Ken Miles driving the prototype for the next year's race. Unfortunately, that's when I'm going to stop because that will spoil the ending for you and things like that. So that's really it. But the film is done very well. It's well written. It's got really, really good actors in it, and it's very, very, very well done. It really is. So that's it. So it's really well done. So that's your 500 special. I hope you've enjoyed it. I just want to thank all my subscribers for getting me this far to the 500 special. I really do. Thank you. And that is really it. There's not much more I can say about Le Mans. Is it a keeper? Yes, it is definitely a keeper. If you haven't seen it, get it and see it. And yes, it's worth keeping in your collection. So hopefully that's what you'll do. Right then, so that's it. That's my 500 special done. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thumbs up, please. Please, if you're still here and you got to this far, please give me a thumbs up. Please like the video. Please subscribe if you're new and hit the bell icon. It all. Also, share the video with your friends and your family and other social media like X, Facebook, Instagram and Twitch, and also use the comment section below, and I try to answer all comments, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now. Catch you all later.